Good evening. Welcome to online current affairs session. Today is December 8th, 2014. As I told you in the previous week, we'll have some discussions regarding certain issues. Today we'll discuss about NOTA. It stands for none of the above options. None of the above. So this is one of the options that can be used in the elections. For example, here in India, for the first time, we have started elections in 1951 and 52. We started in the month of October and we concluded the first elections in the month of February 1952. And in Lok Sabha elections, rather the assembly elections, which are considered to be very, very important for the nation. So that is the elections where the people of the country will show lots of interest. People will come and people will try to vote in those elections. Because this is a chance for the people to elect their representatives. This is how the democracy in India will be exercised. The concept of democracy will come to the forefront through the elections. Hence, all the general elections, all the direct elections will play a significant role in the lives of the people. But since the beginning, we have a concept in the elections that there is no limitation as far as number of candidates are concerned for contesting in the elections. Any number of candidates can contest in the elections, and the people who are living in that area, the so-called constituency, they will be voting in the elections. And anybody who gets highest number of votes will be declared elected. There is no limitation, in fact, as far as the number of votes are concerned. Imagine a situation, example I'm telling you, a very small example. There may be a constituency where 1 lakh people are living, meaning 1 lakh people are the registered voters. Imagine from that constituency, 4 members are contesting. And the first person, say for example, he got 40,000 votes. Second person has got 30,000 votes. And third person 20,000. And fourth person he got 10,000. Then in this particular case, who should be declared elected? Anybody who is getting highest number of votes will be declared elected in that particular election. This is called the first past the post system. But in this election, because the 4 members are contesting, in India, we don't have any option for rejecting the candidates. Once we go for voting in the polling booth, we have to vote for one person or the other. There is no other choice. For quite a long period of time in India, there was a demand that there should be also a facility where the people of the country should also have the right to reject. When we have the right to elect somebody, we should also have the right to reject somebody. This is the demand that was made by so many people in the country. Constitution is giving the permission for a right to expression. By voting in the election, we have every right to express our view, and we are voting for a particular candidate. But if I don't like any candidate who is contesting from my constituency, then what should I do? All these days, there is no answer for this question. The Election Commission of India, which will conduct all the important elections in the country, it was trying its best for quite a long period of time to introduce a concept called NOTA, none of the above. Once I go to the election, if I look at ABCD candidates, if I like somebody because of their work that was done towards the society, or because of the person's character, then I can vote for that candidate. But if I don't like anyone, what should I do? There was no answer for a citizen in the country. Hence, Election Commission has proposed that let there be a situation where the voters will also have the right to reject. That proposal was made by the Election Commission quite long back, but unfortunately, the governments in India, they never bothered about this. But last year, in the year 2013, the Supreme Court has come into the picture, and Supreme Court made it very, very clear: when the people have a right to elect a person through which they are expressing their opinion, they should also be permitted the right to reject also. And the apex court has directed the Election Commission to implement the concept of the right to reject, and that has come in the form of the NOTA. In the previous election, maybe in the assembly elections or in the Lok Sabha elections, which was conducted very, very recently, you might have voted in the election. If you look at this, one of the buttons in that election electronic voting machine was NOTA. Look at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If you don't like anybody, so right, the person can use the NOTA option. Today, the people of the country in India, they have the right to reject a person by using this none of the above options. But the rules are not clear even today also. Since the year 2013, it is being introduced. And if NOTA gets the highest number of votes tomorrow, what is the solution? What is the outcome for this? There is no answer for this even today. But basically what happens, because the Supreme Court has given a judgment and directed Election Commission to introduce the concept of NOTA, the job of Election Commission is to implement it, and it is implementing it. But tomorrow what happens? Of course, so far it did not happen anywhere in India. But tomorrow, if NOTA gets the highest number of votes, then what will happen? In the last year elections that was conducted in Madhya Pradesh, assembly elections I am talking about, in some places, NOTA was standing at number 3 position. Meaning the people have started recognizing the importance of NOTA. But it takes a longer period for all the people in the country to recognize this. Again, it is a responsibility of the government. It is a responsibility of the political parties. It is a responsibility of the people who are educated. It is a responsibility of the Election Commission to educate the people regarding the option that is available, NOTA, NOTA. But whenever the court comes out with such type of judgments, it is the responsibility of the Parliament to make a law to coincide, to go in accordance with the direction of the Supreme Court. The expectation was that after the judgment was given by the Supreme Court, immediately the government of the day should have acted. So there is a law in India which is already existing, Representation of People's Act. That's a bigger topic, huge topic. That's a part of our mains syllabus in paper number 2. When I am talking about that particular topic, I'll have a detailed discussion. But now, the government of the day would have initiated amending the existing Representation of People's Act. And in that one, somewhere, you can introduce the concept of NOTA. It is a responsibility of the Parliament to discuss, debate, deliberate, and come to a conclusion regarding what should be done if NOTA gets highest number of votes. But Parliament did not do it. Hence, Today, NOTA is being implemented because of the directions that are given by the Supreme Court and nothing to do with any law that is present in India. Am I clear? This is number one. Number two, tomorrow, because of any reason, there may be a possibility. Yes, the people are becoming aware, the people are becoming educated, and tomorrow the day is not very, very far where the people of the country may exercise their franchise and they may be voting in favor of NOTA. Imagine a situation the NOTA gets highest number of votes. Then what will happen? Nothing is decided in the so-called law. That's the reason why the person who is at number 2 position, meaning immediately after NOTA, he may be declared elected. He may be declared elected. Then for this reason, why are you using the NOTA? Many of you may be getting the question like this. But what I feel is that tomorrow in any constituency, if NOTA gets number 1, again, we will be approaching the Supreme Court. Because the Parliament could not do anything in this particular aspect, the Supreme Court will definitely do something. And as far as our expectations are concerned, Supreme Court will really take it very seriously. How come the person who is voted for number 2 position will be declared elected? Maybe during the time, I'm just assuming that, maybe during the time, the Supreme Court may come out with another judgment saying that in any constituency, wherever the NOTA gets number 1, in that constituency, election has to be cancelled and election has to be conducted again within a specified period of time, provided all the candidates who already contested in the elections should not be permitted to contest in the elections. This is the judgment that may be given by the so-called the Supreme Court. But it takes some time. But there are indications, and we are getting the news also, that people in some corners of the country, almost in all assembly elections, people are started using it. So once it becomes wider and bigger, once the people realize that we have a right to reject all the candidates who are present above, so during that time they may be using it. Before that, if the Parliament does something, if the Parliament amends the existing Representation of People's Act and add NOTA and specify and explain the NOTA, then obviously it will be a welcome gesture. But if the Parliament does not act, the Supreme Court is going to act. This is what we are assuming this. Regarding the background of this particular NOTA, I would like to show you a document and we'll try to have a discussion. In fact, so I'm basing my discussion on one article that has been appeared in the one of the very, very famous national paper. And last year there was an article regarding that. By adding some updates with respect to the latest issues, I am going to give it to you. Okay. So now I'll show you the document now. By looking at the document, we'll try to have a discussion. Kindly remember, whatever the topic I am going to speak to you now, it's a very, very important one. Look at this. The topic is NOTA. It stands for none of the above. We are talking about the elections. Whether we have the right to reject all the candidates who are contesting in the election. Now the answer is yes. Let's try to understand what is this. But whatever I am going to talk to you here, some points I have taken from this particular national paper, The Hindu, and it was the article that was given on October 9th, 2013. And this column was written by the former Chief Election Commissioner, Shri N. Gopalaswamy. And based on that one, I have framed my own questions. I have framed my own, the so-called the sequence. And regarding this, we'll try to have a discussion. Look at this. Number 1. What are electoral reforms? We'll see it now. Number 2, why reforms are so significant. Reforms is a concept. Wherever I am using the word reform, that is nothing but a change should happen, and the change must take place in a positive manner. The change must take place in the progressive manner. This is the basic idea. Just a moment, I'll increase the size here. Yeah, hopefully you can see it now very clearly. Yes. Now look at this. So what are the electoral reforms? Number 1. Number 2, why the reforms are so significant? We'll answer it. Number 3, what the government is doing. We, the people of India, we have every right to raise any question. And what are the lacunae that are present in the existing system? And what are the positive points in the present system? And what are the negative points in the present system? Why the judiciary intervenes every time? Is it permitted to do so? Yes, it is permitted to do so. We'll understand after some time. What more should be done? Kindly see here, after I complete my discussion here, you may have your own points in your mind. And if you feel your points are really logical and rational, don't hesitate to write those points in the examination. So this is very, very important for me. It is not just following the points what I am going to tell you. During my discussion, when I am talking to you regarding certain points, you may develop your own ideas. So this is the present system. In order to have a better system, what can be done? And if you come across with that particular one, you are most welcome. You are most welcome, and that is a sign of the development, and that is what I expect from you. But in the beginning, if you have any doubts whether your argument is going to be rational and logical, if you have any doubts, kindly mail to me. I'll just verify that. Fine. If it is something good, I will just encourage you so that you will be adding the same points in the examination. If it is not, I'll tell you why it is not. Is that okay? So meaning, so I'll try to criticize your statements. Criticism, kindly remember, criticism. If I use the word criticism, that is not scolding. Clear? So we are trying to look into the weightage of that, whether it is falling under the purview of the Constitution of India or not. Because we cannot break the boundaries of the Constitution. By staying within the boundaries of the Indian Constitution, yes, we have every right to speak anything. Clear? And I have every right to criticize anything that is happening in India. Starting from the highest level to the lowest level, yes, we have every right. That is the reason why let's not hesitate to speak out very clearly if it is truth, if it is logical, if it is rational, and if it is going to create certain benefits to the society and to the government. Yes, those points are most welcome. Slowly over a period of time, you will be developing all the things. You need not worry too much at this stage. Kindly here, I would like to tell you, some people, they are asking me, sir, discuss about some economic issues, discuss also something about the sports and all these things. Kindly wait for a period of time. Kindly wait for a period of time. So we are just at the beginning stage. So, right, so slowly, first of all, without learning the fundamentals of any subject, going and talking about various issues is really a difficult task for us. Okay? And my intention of being with you is that, first of all, whoever is attending here, they must be comfortable with all the subjects. And that is possible only by learning certain things. Right? I don't like to discuss in bits and parts. Okay? If something is happening in our economy today, clear, just slightly I can say. For example, today, the stock market has been started with a boom. And by the end of the day, so the stock market has been closed with the losses. What is the point in saying that to you at this stage? First of all, let's try to understand what is the stock market and all the things. So slowly we'll go ahead. Okay? Be patient. We'll be discussing each and every point that is useful to you. for getting success in the civil service examination. That is my aim. That is your aim also. Right? Maintain cool, maintain calmness, have patience, and have concentration. Keep on reading, keep on watching my videos, and slowly we'll go ahead. At the same time, what are all the questions I am going to give it to you? You need to answer them. This is very, very important for me. Hopefully, I'm clear. Now, again, I'm going to the next point. Look at this. I'm opening the document. And what more should be done? After that, we are going to conclude it. Now, so let me go into the discussion of this. If you look at this, some points. The Supreme Court in the month of September 2013, that is last year, that democracy is about choice. The choice can be better expressed by giving the voters an opportunity to verbalize themselves unreservedly and by imposing least restrictions on their ability to make such a choice. What do you mean by this? So this is the statement that is given by the so-called the Supreme Court. Supreme Court made it very clear, democracy is about choice. What do you mean by choice here? Democracy is a very, very larger concept. In the politics classes, we'll try to understand what is the meaning of this. But just let me tell you one point regarding democracy. In democracy, the people of the country are permitted to express themselves very freely and fairly. We cannot control the opinion of the people. The voice of the people should be allowed to come out freely. This should be allowed to be flow very freely. That is the essence of the democracy. India is lauded throughout the world because of this particular concept called democracy. Of course, certain incidents will happen every time, but in a larger extent, India is considered to be a very, very, very high democratic country. That is number one. But in that democracy, if the people don't have the right to vote for a particular candidate, then what is the meaning of the democracy? In that democracy, if I don't have the right to reject all the people who are contesting in my constituency, then what is the meaning of the democracy? Before going further, I would like to add something here. Sometimes some people in the country, especially you might have seen, in the urban areas, the percentage of polling is comparatively low when compared to the rural areas. In fact, it is easy in urban areas for the people to go and vote. Lots of awareness is also created in the urban areas. But these are the areas where the people are turning out in a very, very low numbers. Where is the problem lying with? The problem basically lies with the people. And I'm talking about the urban people here. Sometimes we'll see it practically also. Some people will always say, I have voted in the previous election. What change does it bring in? And if I am going to vote in this election, what change is going to happen? Some people will say in a democracy, I also have the right to not to vote. But these are all the wrong concepts. These are all the wrong concepts here. Whenever I am talking about the democracy, democracy is a larger concept, and I'm not talking about a single person here. If a single person votes or does not vote, it does not make any difference. That's a different concept. But a larger number of people in the country, if they come together and decide together to vote for the right candidate in that particular election, definitely that will change the fate of the constituency. And if it is happening in the throughout the country, it will change the fate of the nation here. That is the reason it's not just one person or two persons. I'm telling you, larger population must come together, and and they should have the awareness. But how the awareness will be created? The awareness will be created through the proper education. And if you look at the urban areas also, sometimes the survey will be conducted. Our television channels will go and ask the people, who are you voting for? Some people will say for a particular party. Some other people will say party number 2. Some other group will say party number 3. Meaning there is no unanimity in the ideas. Everybody is living in the same area and everybody is considered to be the so-called the educated. Why there is a difference of opinion? So the opinions are becoming personalized rather than thinking in the form of the democracy. Hence, kindly remember, my dear close friends, for creating the awareness, also the education is very, very important. Hence, the education in the country will play a very, very crucial role as far as the development of the nation is concerned. Once the people should come out, people should be able to discuss certain things openly here. What happened in the last 5 years? What is the development that happened? If not, what should be done in the coming elections? The people should come out to speak openly and they should have their own discussions. This is the essence of the democracy. Unfortunately, the basic theme is missing in the country. Most of the times, the people are looking at the democracy only in the form of coming out and voting in the elections once in 5 years. But it's a very, very, very big concept. And to understand this one properly, the people should have awareness, and that is possible only through quality education. Now I request all of you on this platform that from now onwards, in the coming elections, let's not be lethargic. Let's not be lethargic, at least the people who are with me today. Let's not be lethargic, whatever may be the election, maybe the Lok Sabha, maybe the assembly, let's go and vote. Let's also speak to our neighbors, our close peers. Let's speak out the failures and the success of the government. And we can decide collectively so that we can change the fate of the nation here. Sometimes we always say that a vote is considered to be a weapon in the hands of a citizen. If that weapon is not used, then what will happen? Hence, it's a larger concept that is related to so many things. Hopefully, you are following all the things. Very, very important one. And before you sleep today, I request all of you to think on this. This is the most important point. Until and unless we do this, the change in the country as we expect is not possible. Okay, it is not just blaming the government of the day and sitting at home, but we should also do something that is possible through awareness, that is possible through the proper education and the quality education. Am I clear? Now let me go to the point here. So this is the meaning of the democracy that is given by the Supreme Court used this concept. So this is the statement. I am reading it for you. Democracy is about choice. The choice can be better expressed by giving the voters an opportunity to verbalize themselves unreservedly and by imposing least restrictions on their ability to make such a choice. Look at this. The Supreme Court recognition of a negative vote as a constitutional right should be followed by acknowledging it as a rejection of all the candidates. Negative vote is nothing but here, according to the Supreme Court recognition, it should be acknowledged as the rejection of all the candidates. Next one, look at this. In the face of the government's reluctance to move ahead in bringing meaningful electoral reforms, the courts have had to intervene wherever they could give some push to the reforms and to restore the public faith in the system. What do you mean by this? What do you mean by this? Kindly think on these lines, please. This is the time to think. If you don't think now, you cannot think in the future. That's the reason why every time I will say, whatever the statements that are given by the Supreme Court, those statements will carry lots of weightage. Kindly remember this. Why the government is not acting? If the government of the day is not acting, who will act? If you don't act, the courts will be forced to interfere. That is the fundamental idea. Hopefully you are getting it. Very, 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 very important point here. So this is the place where the Supreme Court came out with the concept of the NOTA. People should be given a choice. It is not just asking them to vote for somebody who is available. But where is my right to reject? That's the reason why Supreme Court has directed the Election Commission for implementation of the concept of none of the above options. Hopefully, people will be aware very, very soon, and the people will be using this concept, NOTA. But otherwise, what is happening? Sometimes in some elections, we always talk. The criminals are getting elected. The rowdy sheeters, the gundas, the history sheeters, the people who committed heinous crimes, they are being elected and they are sitting in the very, very august house in the country. They are the legislatures. And these are the people who are sitting in the parliament and they are making the laws. But in reality, some of them are the law breakers. Law makers are acting like the law breakers. Then where is the protection to a common man? That is a point. At the end of this week or sometime in the next week, I will also talk to you regarding certain death sentences that have been taken place in India. Some shocking revelations are there. Okay, I'll talk to you regarding that when we come to this topic here. So this is the NOTA here. So the concept of NOTA has been introduced in the year 2013. It is by the Election Commission only on the directions that are given by the Supreme Court. Since then it is being used, but we are waiting for a day where the NOTA should stand at #1 position. So during that time, as I was telling you in the beginning of this class, Supreme Court will come out with a fair judgment. I was telling you, the people of the country might have lost faith in the parliament, they might have lost faith in the executive, but the people are still believing in the judiciary. That is the highest judiciary that is present in the country. That is the Supreme Court of India. Okay, I'll just show you the document. I'll just show you the points, whatever I have spoken to you now. And for today, I want you to think on these points. So what should be the conclusion? What are the negative points? That will be discussing tomorrow. But kindly today, I want you to ponder over all the things here. What should be done? But kindly think logically, think with rationality. Without the concept of logic and rationality, our answers may become vague. Okay, now I'll show you the document. Let us have a review on this. After this, you can decide, you can start thinking certain things. Now, look at this now. So I am talking about the elections here. What are the electoral reforms? Why reforms are so significant? What the government is doing? What are the lacunae? What are the positive points in the present system? What are the negative points in the present system? Why the judiciary intervenes? And what more should be done? And what is the conclusion? And we have seen these points also. Because of the judgment of the Supreme Court only, today we have the concept of NOTA. As per Supreme Court, democracy is about choice. The choice can be better expressed by giving the voters an opportunity to verbalize themselves. Verbalize means to speak themselves unreservedly, and by imposing the least restrictions on their ability to make such a choice. The Supreme Court recognition of a negative vote as a constitutional right should be followed by acknowledging this as a rejection of all the candidates. In the face of the government's reluctance to move ahead in bringing meaningful electoral reforms, the courts have had to intervene whenever they could give some push to the reforms and to restore the public faith in the system. Very, very important. Clear? If the courts are not interfering, the people will be losing the interest in the entire system here. That's the reason today also we have the faith in the system and the credit goes to the judiciary. Okay, the topic is not completed. I'm telling you the topic is not completed. Still some more points are there to be discussed. Okay, deliberately I'm stopping it here and I just want to give you some time for thinking on your own. Is that okay? And come out with the concrete ideas, put yourself. And in meanwhile, before 8 o'clock tomorrow, if you want to mail me anything as usual, every day you are giving me the mails, you are most welcome. So we'll have a discussion on that one. I will give you the reply. But otherwise, we'll finish up this NOTA topic tomorrow itself. Am I clear? So thank you so much for being with me this evening. So have a very good night and sleep very nicely. And tomorrow morning, as usual, at 5 o'clock, so we'll be meeting. So today morning, we could not meet for the Indian polity class, but the class has been taken at 4 o'clock. I have intimated on the screen, you might have seen. And I have discussed about, again, some of the sources of the Indian Constitution. That video is available in our site, onlineias.com. In the videos, click on the videos, you will see it. And kindly watch that one because of any reason if you have missed it out. Otherwise, it's okay. But we'll be meeting tomorrow morning, again at the same time, 5 o'clock. Till then, I wish you all the very, very best. Good luck.